Hi everyone. Hi. I am having all the problems in the world trying to get my presentation online, so you'll have to forgive me for being very distracting and using my cell phone to get my assignment ready to go. But I hope that you can still watch it and not be too distracted by the moving. I'll try to hold to a minimum. So let's give this a watch. Thanks. Sorry. Hi everybody, my name is Catherine Bauman and I did my report on human trafficking. Human trafficking defined. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime defines human trafficking as the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or the receipt of persons by means of threat or use of force or other forms of coercion, of abduction, of fraud, of deception, of the abuse of power, or of a position of vulnerability, or of the giving or receiving of payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person for the purpose of exploitation. There are many different types of human trafficking. I've listed all of them that I could think of right here. Some of the main ones are escort services, prostitution. I was very surprised to see construction, health and beauty services, and even restaurants and food sales. Another one that really caught my attention was organ theft. People are actually being trafficked so they can have their organs stolen. How does a person become a victim? Well, the victims of human trafficking are not one race, religion, or even gender. It is impossible to know who is going to be trafficked, but there are certain aspects that make an individual more vulnerable. Some of these aspects are living in poverty, political or economic instability, financial debt, poor education, racism, lack of resources, homelessness, and unemployment. Human trafficking is a global issue. The Center for Women's Global Leadership identifies some of the main countries that tend to be the source countries of victims of trafficking, specifically for the sex industry, as Russia, the Ukraine, Poland, the Czech Republic, Thailand, Burma, Nepal, Bangladesh, Brazil, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Nigeria, and Benin. I do want to point out that where those are the source countries, but they're not the only countries where this is happening. This is happening very much in North America, even right now today. So it's just important to keep in mind that it is happening all over the globe. When discussing human trafficking, the type that most frequently comes to mind is sex trafficking. Sex trafficking can include a variety of methods, but ultimately they are the same. The victim is forced to have sex with a customer who pays the captors. One survivor who provided her story to CNN, named Carla Jacinto, stated she was raped 43,200 times by the time she was 16 years old. She was forced to have sex with up to 30 men per day, 7 days a week, for almost 4 years. She was even raped by policemen in Mexico. Another survivor who held a college degree believed she was moving to the U.S. from Indonesia for a new job. She was sold and forced to have sex, believing she had to repay her debt of $30,000 by servicing 300 men. Her captors charged $100 each time. Some victims of sex trafficking were originally agreeing to being smuggled out of their home country. They will usually agree to paying the smuggler once they've reached their destination in installments, but when the destination is reached, the woman finds that the work she's required to perform is sexual. Her trafficker takes virtually all of the money received. According to the International Labor Organization, or the ILO, there are almost 21 million victims of human trafficking worldwide, including 5.5 million children. Over 50% of these victims were in the Asia-Pacific region, followed in rank by Africa and then Latin America. It isn't all about sex. While some victims are coerced into human trafficking, most people leave their homes voluntarily. Victims fall into the trap through a promise of a better life by employment opportunities outside of their home country, becoming a mail-order bride, or even in an effort to pay their family's debt. Unfortunately, over 300 million children worldwide have also fallen into human trafficking and have been forced into child labor. If that isn't bad enough, people are also being kidnapped every day in countries like The typical organ donor is a male about 28.9 years old with an annual income of $480, while the typical recipient of a male is a male about 48.1 years old with an annual income of $53,000. In January 2017, 24 people were saved in Pakistan from an organ trafficking gang. The members would prey on the unemployed, and the poor then convinced them that they were there for work options available. They took the victims to a building where they held them against their will, some of them for months. One victim, Sadi Ahmed, was held hostage for 3 months. He told the BBC News that he was told he would need to have testing done. When he asked what kind of testing, he was told he would be paid the equivalent of $4,600 for his kidney. Mr. Ahmed says he was beaten up, not allowed to go out. We were padlocked in. We were threatened that the police would beat us up and we would be killed. When the police raided the building, Mr. Ahmed was saved just in time. He was due to have his kidney removed at a nearby hospital called the Kidney Center just a few hours later. Organ trafficking facts. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, every month more than 2,000 new names are added to the national waiting list for organ transplants, which had 120,675 patients as of publication. In the United States alone, about 18 people die every day while waiting for a kidney transplant to become available. Some donors who are so desperate for additional funds will sell their kidney for as little as $5,000, but the recipient will pay as much as $200,000 for the same kidney. As it has been presented today, it is clear that human trafficking is occurring all over the globe. There are so many surprising types of human trafficking that occur, it is hard to know where to start to put an end to this problem. Luckily, nations are working together to bring awareness to their populations and generating stronger punishments to the traffickers. Where to get help or report human trafficking? There's a National Human Trafficking Resource Center. There's a phone number